this time, it is a pleasure and an honor to call upon Dr. Patrick Clements, who has been chosen by his peers to give the student commencement speech for the College of Medicine 2010. Dr. Clements.
President Jacobs, members of the faculty, esteemed guests, families, friends, and graduates, it is a great privilege to be here to share a few words with you on behalf of the 2010 graduating class of the University of Toledo College of Medicine. Commencement is a time to to celebrate the completion of a degree after years of hard work. Yet, by its very definition, it's about beginnings. In this spirit, I'd like to go back to our beginning as students at the UT College of Medicine. For many of us, we first formally gathered at the white coat ceremony back in August of 2006, a rite of passage where we first donned the symbolic coat that we would wear throughout this journey. While most white coats proudly display the neatly embroidered name and emblem of a medical school, our coats at the time were blank. We were the first entering class following that summer's merger between UT and the former Medical University of Ohio. The dust from the merger was far from settled, and our blank coats reflected that things like new logos were still a work in progress. In a similar way, we students were blank slates as well, optimistic yet naive of both the great challenges and tremendous opportunities that awaited us. So in these past 4 years, we have seen both the college and its students forging new identities, redefining values and goals. As students, we've made great friendships and applied our combined talents to activities that reached out not only to the university, but greater Toledo community as well. We found mentors and advisors that became role models for the healthcare professionals, researchers, and advocates we hope to become. Now we find ourselves at the end of this chapter more confident, driven, and excited for new opportunities made possible by our experiences at this university. It is no secret that we leave this place with a great deal of debt. Words like loan repayment and capitalization make our hearts race and stomachs tighten. Yet, I believe our greatest debt is anything but financial. Rather, it's a debt to all who have supported us along the way, as this was a journey no one could make by themselves. Perhaps our biggest investors, so to speak, are the people we see sitting before us, our families and friends. They motivated us, kept us grounded, and have been our #1 fans, especially on our toughest days. Many of them even tolerated us during first year when we brought flashcards and outlines of the brachial plexus home with us Thanksgiving weekend as we crammed for our first anatomy quiz the following Monday. We are in debt to our teachers and the support staff who have guided us as we learned both basic science and clinical practice. They spent countless hours with us in the lecture hall, lab, and hospital ward, going out of their way for the sake of our education. I remember Dr. Baptista coming into the gross lab on a weekend to help a group of us who were caught in the weeds, so to speak, during a very difficult anatomy unit. Then Dr. Gohara has always been a fierce advocate for her students and a great teacher, constantly pointing out concepts in pathology that we should treasure and keep close to our hearts as we prepare for boards. Then there are the many clinical faculty members who opened their practices to us, shared their patience, and taught us the crucial things that we could not learn through books alone. We would be nowhere without those who made it a priority to teach and mentor the next generation of healthcare professionals. Finally, and most importantly, we are forever indebted to the people of Northwest Ohio who have invested in our education. They were our patients in the hospitals and clinics. They were volunteers for research projects and clinical trials. They're the ones who donated their bodies to medical science so that we could learn human structure and development. And let's face it, being the patient of a medical student requires understanding and sometimes a bit of sacrifice. Our patients allowed us second or third tries as we learned to take blood pressures and endured our sometimes shaky hands as we sutured their lacerations in the emergency department. In the hospital, the student was one more person who woke them up at the crack of dawn to ask them the same questions in preparation for rounds later that morning. We certainly kept our patients on their toes, and they were good sports even during our more embarrassing moments. During my cardiology rotation, I was walking past the room of a patient with episodes of supraventricular tachycardia that we were having difficulty treating, and I heard the familiar beeps of his heart monitor. Beep, 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 and then silence. Thinking something was horribly wrong, I burst into the room, practically startling the patient to death in the process. The man was fine, at least until I had entered, and was sitting in bed eating his lunch. The beeps I had taken to be his heart monitor were actually coming from the TV. Contestants were spinning the big wheel as part of the showcase. We are grateful for the patients and caregivers involved in our education, those who opened up to us about feelings of anxiety or depression, allowed a line of students with stethoscopes to listen to their heart murmur, and held their squirming, screaming 2-year-olds so that we could visualize an ear infection. It is remarkable to think of the countless individuals who have invested in us, yet I can't help but wonder what we could have done to deserve this. Surely no MCAT score gives us the right to deliver a baby. No GPA or personal statement lets us offer words of comfort to family members in the intensive care unit. I offer that these gifts and privileges were given to us in good faith, not based on what we have done, but rather on what we have the potential to do through careers as clinicians, researchers, educators, and advocates. If we wanted to, we could choose to ignore our financial loans, throwing away the monthly statements and never mailing in a check. I suspect, however, that it would only be a matter of time until the squad broke down our door in the middle of the night. Yet no one is keeping tabs on what we owe to our families, teachers, and first patients. Each of us can repay this debt in our own way. We can take lessons learned from our teachers and mentors to provide our future patients with the best care possible. We can apply our curiosity to expand the boundaries of scientific knowledge, fight disease, and bring hope to the afflicted. We can remember that the need for quality health care extends beyond socioeconomic and political boundaries, inspiring us to care for the vulnerable and underserved both in our own backyard and across the globe. Hopefully we will not forget the university and the community that believed in our potential and support the programs that gave us life-changing experiences. So in this way, we can end this chapter with humility and gratitude, and with excitement, we welcome new beginnings that will be challenging yet certainly rewarding. On a personal note, I wanted to say thanks to my amazing classmates. I cannot think of a more dynamic, talented, and compassionate group. Nor can I imagine colleagues with whom I would rather share long hours at the hospital, late nights at the library, or laughs over beer at Doc Watson's. Medical school was a wild ride, and it was an honor to share it with you. Well-deserved congratulations and best wishes to the class of 2010. Thank you.